We are Southeastern 16, and we are continuing previewing Week 1 matchups involving some of these SEC teams. I love the Week 1 slate this year. We got some really good games. Today, we're going to take a look at the Alabama Crimson Tide taking on the Florida State Seminoles with Jay Greeson. I'm Chase Robinson. This should be a fun one, Jay. And before we get into it, though, you see that logo if you're watching on YouTube. FanDuel, our new partner, new sponsor here for the channel, our title sponsor. We appreciate them. And I was clicking around FanDuel and looking at this game, Jay, of Alabama on the road at Florida State. Crimson Tide, FanDuel has them minus 13.5 against the Seminoles in this one.
Minus 13.5, minus 500 on the money line to win outright, and an over-under of 50.5, which is a relatively low over-under when you consider all of the changes that have not only happened in Tallahassee, but all the talent coming back for an Alabama offense.
Yeah, that's very true. And so FanDuel, keeping your eye out on FanDuel as we get closer to this game and all of the other Week 1 games, and FanDuel.com, where you can go for all the odds, some parlays, all that good stuff right there. FanDuel, our new partner. We'll tell you more about them as we move through this video. But really interesting game because you think of just the two teams, Jay, of Alabama, Florida State, two traditional programs going at it to start the 2025 season. But it is interesting. Look back at last year. Florida State it was just a bizarre year, especially coming off the year they had the year before, winning the ACC, and then to last year where nothing was going right for Florida State. They've made changes. Gus Malzahn, now the offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator as well. They're trying to get this thing headed back in the right direction.
Well, I think you have to start with the offense, and it's eye-popping to look at their depth chart that will start 8. Well, at least the depth chart I've seen. We're still in early August, and this is a late August kickoff later this month. But the depth chart I've seen has 8 new transfers from the portal, including both wide receivers, quarterback Tommy Castellanos from Boston College, who started his career at UCF playing for Malzahn when he was the head coach down there. So there is a familiarity between the two. And look, I think Mike Norvell was, I'm not going to say forced to make these changes, but I think it was strongly suggested in the season-ending sit-down with the bosses that be in Florida State, because 2-10 can't happen. 2-10 for a team that has conference championship expectations just simply by the name on the ledger every single year. 2-10, because that then devalues your program. The fans skip the angry stage. They go straight to indifferent. And Look, this is a monster test, but it's a monster opportunity for a whole brand new look Florida State team. And going into it, you would have to say, on what we've seen, edge at quarterback to Florida State. Castellanos was great last year for Boston College. And if he is a willing runner, which is, he's fast enough. He's not Nick Marshall fast in the heyday of the midline that Gus Malzahn was operating in the early 2010s in Auburn, but he's quick enough to get on the edge against everybody, including Alabama.
Yeah, and as he has already said this summer, that Alabama's not going to be able to stop him. I mean, they don't have Nick Saban anymore either.
Well, look, all right, all quarterbacks in August think they're 10 foot tall and bulletproof. I mean, it makes me go back to the one image I have most crisply in my mind was somebody asked Joe Flacco where he ranked, and this is when he was with the Ravens and still among guys who were pretty good on Sundays. And he said, I think I'm the best quarterback in the league. And Peyton Manning was still there, and Tom Brady was still there. And mean, nobody believes him, but you need your quarterback to have that confidence, because if he doesn't believe they can get it done, then there's no possible way they're going to be able to get it done. All right. Is Alabama, is he going to go for 290? Is he going to pull a Cam Newton and single-handedly wreck Alabama? I doubt it. But what do you want him to say other than that?
Right. As looking at the matchup as far as Alabama's defense goes, because there's a lot of talent on that side of the ball defensively for Alabama facing this offense of Florida State. Do you see any like strengths going towards either team when you look at that side of the matchup?
Well, I think it starts up front with a very good Alabama front seven and littered with NFL dudes sooner rather than later against a completely revamped Florida State line. Because, look, the line last year was in shambles. The offense was arguably, and I don't even know if arguably is fair, it may have been the worst Power 5 offense in the country as Florida State went Power 4 as they went 2-10, rebounding from a near run at the playoffs the previous year. Those with 4 new portal starters for the Seminoles, those guys better be locked and loaded and ready for a relentless wave of Crimson Tide.
Yeah, I would certainly agree with that. I mean, you mentioned, I mean, the front for Alabama defensively is going to be a really good and a strong suit of that team for sure. Flip it over, and you mentioned, you brought up a good point when it comes to comparing the quarterbacks. Castellanos has way more experience. You know, he's been in big games like and then Ty Simpson, who has not been in this situation. He's not been the starting quarterback for a team in college. Like that's two polar opposites when you look at the quarterbacks. So that's going to be interesting. This is going to be the first time we see Ty Simpson under the lights as the starting quarterback at Alabama. And we've talked about it a lot. Like Alabama's season could in part come down to play from the quarterback, and we get to see it under the lights in Tallahassee. And
a big part of that is not only is his first meaningful action, it's going to be on the road in a very hostile place.
Yeah.
But if we're going to compare apples to apples here, Castellanos better be fast, because that reworked offensive line is going to have their hands full. Ty Simpson may need to bring a book, because he's going to be able to stand in the pocket back there for an hour and a half, because Alabama may have the best offensive line in the country. And I do believe they have the best offensive tackle in the country in Caden Proctor.
Yeah, that is for sure. We'll continue previewing this game, but we got to tell you about a couple of our other partners. Game Time Sidekicks. You see Jay holding his up right there. Officially licensed stainless steel drinkware. All the SEC schools, plus 350 more universities at top of the market quality. Great ice retention. Tons of designs and logos. They've got the college vault line. Everything from stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, 40-ounce plus bottles, and shaker cups. And you can get a 20% discount. Promo code SE16. Yes, GameTimeSidekicks.com. Promo code SE16. 20% discount to you, the viewers. Also, we've got our partner, ROKFORM, the world's strongest magnetic phone case. Extreme protection, super strong magnets. They got the Rock Lock secure mounting. Most durable and multifunctional phone case accessories. And they got that military grade standards for their accessories, with their cases. We also have a promo code for that one, SEC25, for 25% off your order there from ROKFORM. That is rockform.com, ROKFORM, SEC25 for your 25% discount. So, looking at Alabama, Florida State, we're sitting here early August, early preview here. We've talked about the quarterback play, and then you look for Alabama, the guys around Ty Simpson, the wide receiver room. I mean, you got Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, Isaiah Horton, a lot of depth there at wide receiver. Really interested, though, in this game to see how the running backs are utilized and see really who's going to be that guy. We know Jam Miller's coming back. Are we going to see these running backs, though, Jay, more like pass catchers, or we're going to see a traditional running back? I'm interested to see how this offense changed under Ryan Grubb, especially with that running back position.
Well, if 2 years ago at Washington is any indication, they're going to figure out ways to get multiple packages on the field. They get 3 and 4 wide receivers on the field. They use a running back, as you alluded to, in the passing game, and they spread the ball out, and they really challenge you into a place that you're going to have to pick and choose which one of those 3 potential star wide receivers, Bernard, Horton, and Williams, that you're not going to be able to double all of them, or you're going to have 4 guys in the box. So figuring out which way they're going is key to Grubb's offense. Reversely, for FSU, they're going to have to figure out ways to put Ty Simpson in unknown situations. That may help to have a new defensive coordinator, the guy from Nebraska, run the 3-3-5. So you've got 5 DBs on the field, and you can come at him from different angles, because you're going to have to send extra guys to get through that Alabama offensive line to get pressure on a kid making his first start in a meaningful big-time college football game.
Yeah, you're right, and that has to be, no matter who is at quarterback, that Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb go with, whether it's Ty Simpson all season long or whether we see other guys. Like, to have that offensive line has got to give you're able to take a deep breath, I think, to say, okay, whoever's back there, let's give them time, and that has to be a comfort for Alabama going into this season.
Not only is it a comfort for Alabama's coaching staff, and especially for Ty Simpson, but think about how successful they're going to be on 3rd and 1. And they can do the old Tom Osborne, walk up to the line of scrimmage and say, we're going to run the ball right here. Good luck stopping it. Because Caden Proctor, I don't know if you saw Bruce Feldman for The Athletic. He lists his top 101 college football freaks. Caden Proctor ranked 2 on his list, behind Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State. I want you to hear these numbers about Caden Proctor. He's 6'7", 366 pounds. This summer, he squatted 815 pounds, benched 535, and power cleaned 405. So he's theoretically picking up my F-150 when he gets done in the weight room. And moreover, he is so freakishly athletic that at 366 pounds, he measured a 32-inch vertical. I am dumbfounded by how anybody fights through that landmass coming at you with that strength.
Yeah, that's crazy. He is going to be he's going to be a handful, multiple handfuls for teams that he goes against this year. So looking at this matchup, Jay, Alabama, Florida State, it's in Tallahassee. Do you like the 13.5?
And hey, we'll break it down with FanDuel all the way leading up to kickoff, and certainly game week when we feel like we know a whole lot of information right now. Wouldn't shock me if this is the lowest price you'll see. I could see that number getting above that very important swing number of 14 before they kick off, and that's for 2 reasons. Alabama is the one we know, and plus, FanDuel and most of the odds makers I've ever associated with will give you a list of 5, 6, 7 teams that are such public favorites that the algorithms tend to slide lines their way, not or against them actually, because they know a lot of people are going to bet on, they're either going to bet on Alabama or they're not going to bet on the game. So in their mind, they're trying to hedge their bets as best they can. I would, if I could find it under 14, I would take Alabama. I think both coaches have a measure of pressure. I mean, all college football coaches have a measure of pressure. Norvell is clear and obvious after 2-10 and clearing a large part of his coaching staff. But 9-3 is it's not just as unacceptable as 2-10, but 9-3 post Saban is not going to be good enough in year 2 for Kalen DeBoer. Not with a team that's got, over the next course of the 2 NFL drafts, probably 20 starters who will hear their name called.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. I think Alabama wins this game. I think this is the start of a big season for Alabama. I think they want to make some things right. I think this team is motivated that way. And so, yeah, I think they go down to Tallahassee and start off with a win in week 1.
If you wanted the FanDuel bet I feel better about, I would probably lean towards going over 50.5 points. Malzahn is good. Hey, if Malzahn's not having to run a program, dude calls some good ball plays. DeBoer went and got his OC. DeBoer's going to want to put Ty Simpson in a place to build on for the future. And look, even if Ty Simpson struggles, hey, pick sixes help the over too. So, I mean, if you're uncertain about some matchups in that regard, I would probably lean over more than I would laying the 2 touchdowns. But I'm certain when we get closer to kickoff, we'll all have money on this one way or the other, because it's going to be a game we watch.
Yep. Oh, it certainly will be. FanDuel is where you can go. Again, as we get closer to the season, we'll be providing you more numbers from our friends and partner over at FanDuel. But you can check that out now. FanDuel.com. Everything you need right there in front of you there. And we appreciate FanDuel for partnering with us. And so support those who support us. We'll preview this game as we get closer to kickoff on August 30th. It'll be the a afternoon game there on that opening Saturday of college football. A lot to be excited about this year in the SEC. Subscribe to our channel if you have not already. Hit the like button on this video. Alabama fans, let us know what you think about the Crimson Tide heading into 2025 and into this matchup. We'll be back soon with more SEC football content here on Southeastern 16.